everyone, Jamie Sumner from Sea Freedom Brew. Today we want to talk about last week's Fed FOMC meeting and where they came out and they increased rates by 25 basis points. And they also, with this meeting, they also put out their new projections for the next couple of years in terms of GDP, unemployment, inflation and core inflation, as well as where they anticipate that Fed funds rate to go. So let's look at the projections that they put out. And as you can see here, there's very little change from their December projections. In fact, one question during the press conference, Chair Yellen indicated that they have yet to incorporate any type of fiscal policy that might be pushed through or tax cuts within inside of these projections. So we can anticipate as the year moves along that these should start to pick up at least somewhat in order to take into consideration those policies or prospective policies. But overall, the growth that we're looking at over the next 3 years based off of these numbers is not that exciting. In fact, you have a 2.1% GDP for 2017 and 18, and then moving down to a 1.9% GDP. Now the question could be raised if we're only looking at this type of economic growth, and they're saying we're going to flatline within inside of the unemployment, why then would we be anticipating this continual increase within inside the federal funds rate? Right now, they're looking at the federal funds rate at the end of 2017 to get up to that 1.4% median. So that would be a spread between the 1 and 125 or 125 and 150. So when we're looking at this overall rate increases, when we look at the dot plot, we're showing about 2 more increases this year. Now, with the last week's increase, we can anticipate very little change that will be needed on our core deposit rates. However, as we move throughout 2017 and we begin to see maybe the continual increase of the federal funds rate, we're going to need to rethink that strategy and start bumping up these core deposit rates little by little. And the suggestion that I've been giving some of our banks is when we start to go through that process, you might want to start off by creating a new account that when individuals come in and they're asking for a higher rate, instead of raising the rate broadly across all of your core deposits, you can push them into a new product that has a slightly higher rate. And this way you don't have to reprice your entire liability structure just at one, until we can utilize that process as we move along here when we begin this process of rising rates. Next week we'll talk about the impact of the overall yield curve and what would happen when we start to see that short-term rates begin to increase while the long rates stay where they are or potentially even move down, and what type of strategies we can have in place. So that's what we have for you this week. We look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great week.